What's going on there, y'all tube? So I'm looking through all my electronics that I've collected over the past. I got a whole mess of crap in here. It's not quite as organized as I would like it, but it's somewhat organized. Got some old servos in here. Some of them, sorry about that, some of them are still functional, some of them aren't. Little doodads like this right here. It's probably going to go in one of my vehicles as a way to turn the figure's head or arms or something. Probably in the 1/6 scale Willie's Jeep that you guys have seen the past couple videos. But you know, even these old servos that they got stripped gears in them, they got uses. Believe it or not, they got little motors in them. Some of the motors are compatible with like your winch motors, little tiny winch motors that are in. What do I do with it? Oh, over here. Little tiny motors that are in right in there. You can see it. But better than that, air handle kicked down right there. Even better than that, they got electronic circuitry in them that can be used for other things. Now, I was going to use an old servo, take it apart, use a circuit board to control my winch. That's going to be on my SCX-10 Bronco. But I see that there are some videos out there using that method, so I'm going to use the method that I've used in the past that works just as well. The only difference is, well, not the only difference, but there are some differences. I'm going to use an old ESC. Now, no, I'm not going to use this Holmes Hobby Torque Master because I mean, I might as well go spend the money on the controller that's out there for the winches that's already available. But this having a drag brake would be good to use for a winch. However, that's not going to happen. I've got this brushless ESC. I think it's an Easy Run S10 maybe. Comes in a lot of ready to run vehicles. Got the old Traxxas XL5. Got a Taser. But I'm going to find one of them or use one of these brushed ESCs. I'm going to open it up and use the circuitry to control my winch. Basically, when you think about it, I mean, it's a motor control. It's a speed controller for a motor that can switch the polarity inside and run the motor both directions. That's what we need for the winch, right? We need to be able to go out. We need to be able to stop. We need to be able to come back in. We need to be able to stop. So an ESC, a brushed ESC, will allow you to do that. Now, the difference between this and your servo, well, there's a couple differences. One, the size. This is going to be a little bit bigger of a circuit, but with that, you're generally going to be able to run a little bit higher voltage. It's going to be able to handle, you know, 6 volts, 8 volts, 10 volts, 12 volts, you know, 2, 3S, depending on which ESC you use. Whereas a lot of these servos, you know, they're running on 5 volts, 6 volts. If you get a high voltage servo, you can run on 7, you know. But one's not really better than the other. It really depends on if you can get a really cheap ESC that has a drag brake and it's programmable. That would, you know, that might be the ticket. What I got going on here, something else I want to show you guys. This little thing I made a couple years ago. All this is a little micro switch. You can get these out of an old microwave. They're very cheap, readily available. You can take them out of all kinds of appliances. Like on your microwave, this is the type of switch that controls the light that comes on when you open the door. So, and there's probably also one that's normally closed that stays closed to let the circuitry flow, and then when you open the door, it opens up. That way it kills the microwave and why it shuts off. And then you have, you know, one that makes the light come on. But anyways, this is my little brushed motor tester. And if you got a brushed motor, you ain't sure if it's any count or not. If you have one of these, or if you make yourself one of these, which is very simple to make, just got some connections for the motor, connection for your battery battery of choice that you run, and into the switch. All you're going to do, you plug it in. This little battery here, this little 2-cell battery. Most of these motors we run will handle 3-cell battery, but I prefer to use a 2-cell. I don't use this battery for anything anyway, so we'll use it. And then you're going to plug your motor that you want to test in. You want to make sure that you keep these separate here. Don't want any accidents. Then you just hold on to this bad boy and hit the button. And if you want to make sure to go the other direction, you just swap the polarities and hit the button again. But this motor is good, quiet, and can be used. Anyways, that's just a little something I wanted to show you. I've had this hanging on my wall for quite some time, and you know, it's better to be able to hook your motor up and tell that it works or doesn't work before you get it all bolted and shimmed, and you know, your gear mesh and everything in your truck, and you realize your motor's smoked, or you know, you'd forgotten that you had got too much mud in it last time you ran it, and blah 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 blah. So yeah, there you go. There's a way to fix that. Now, if you want to test a brushless motor, there's a few ways to test this. A simple way: sit and turn it, get used to the resistance that you feel, and then take 2 of the leads, clamp them together like that, and turn it. It should be more difficult to turn. Now that'll tell you generally that you know, that winding in the motor is good, but just make sure that when you clamp these together, that they're good and solidly together. And you should definitely notice more resistance. It should be a little more difficult to turn. And that's just a simple, easy way to kind of make sure your brushless motors are good. Yeah, so with that, we'll see if I can find, I got another ESC around here somewhere. I'm trying to find it that I actually have used before for my winch control on another truck. So I'm going to try to find that, and I'll show you guys how I do it. Alright guys, so real quick, I'm using the RC 4-wheel drive XR4. I'm using channel 4, which is right here. This is channel 3, this is channel 4. Alright, and what we got real quick, I'm going to go back and do this a little neater, but I'm running out of time. So off your new motor controller, your old ESC that you're using, you're going to come off of it, and you just want the yellow to go over and meet the black and red, which would have been your battery on this ESC. Your black and red and the yellow will come over and plug in to the channel you want to use over here. Alright, you're getting power to this by your ESC that's driving your truck, and here's the battery. Alright, over here's the winch, and I'm going to flip the switch down to make it go out. Back to the center to stop, up to go in. And that's a simple way you can make you a speed controller out of stuff you got at the house.